Dr. Benedikt, is it Frank or Franke, or how do I pronounce your last name?
Franke will do. Benedikt is even better.
Benedikt. Should I refer to you as Benedikt or Doctor? Or?
Benedikt would do.
Benedikt would do. Okay, how's your day so far?
It's been brilliant. I'm very happy to be here. I'm thrilled about yesterday's decision on Sweden. I think the Public Forum is making a valuable contribution to the debate, so I'm happy. So don't ruin the mood.
Oh, okay. I'll try to keep the mood, upbeat. Yeah. Do you know that you have like a really good reputation here? Because at least 5 people asked before the interview. 5 people asked me like, "Who are you interviewing?" And I'm like, Benedikt Franke, the vice chairman for. And they're like, "Oh my God, he's like the nicest guy ever." These 5 people weren't even related, not even by country or organization or anything.
I paid him handsomely.
So everyone then, basically.
No, but we enjoy the Munich Security Conference, loves being part of this group, and we've grown quite friendly with many here, so that's probably why.
Oh, okay. So this, like, the structure of this question is very unnecessarily complex. That's because of how my brain works, but I'll try to read into it, and if you don't understand, I'll elaborate on it.
It's okay. I'm a very simple guy. I'll try to follow.
Okay, so that's not how my brain works. As stated on the official MSC website, right, the MSC's objective is to build trust and to contribute to the peaceful resolution of conflicts by sustaining a continuous, curated, and informal dialogue within the international security community, right? Pretty general, let's say. Don't take this the wrong way, but it does sound like the average or the common organization, alliance, union, or whatever you want to call it. However, on the same page, on the same website of MSC, right, you have this astonishing to-do list. I've never seen anything like it on any other website for any other organization, with very hyper-specific action points or maybe even KPIs. What is MSC's secret for achieving such fleshed-out objectives? Like, I understand the whole conference works as like a debate, as like a floor for debate. But like at the end of the day, you have like really fleshed out KPIs. How do you manage that? How do you achieve that?
Okay, first of all, I'm glad somebody is actually looking at our website. Second, I already like you.
I think there's like 120 points on the to-do list. So I've read through all of them.
That is
pretty
really
specific.
Cool. You can have a printed fold-out version, which I've seen in number 10 in Downing Street, and so people do pay attention to it. Okay. So what makes us different from other organizations is it's really that we try to be marketplace of ideas, and to do this in a, as we say, sustained fashion. And there are many conferences out there, and there are many meetings, and they create great content and great ideas. But no one really puts that together somewhere. And we figured,
exactly,
in all our meetings, people make great suggestions. Why don't we put them on one piece of paper, on one website, and then we track them? So this is not really the to-do list for the Munich Security Conference. It's a list of to-do and action items that we've collected in our events over the course of the year and that we keep following up on, because we don't want to be showmen or showwomen. We really want to make sure that the stuff, the very specific stuff, as you rightly point out, actually happens, and that good ideas don't just end, with a clapping in the room, and then everyone goes home and never talks about it again.
Because that's how I imagine, like any other general, like I said, union conference or whatever. But it doesn't seem like MSC is one of those.
We're different. You should come. We have a nice YouTube studio there.
Oh, okay, cool. So is this an official?
That is an official. I mean, people are probably watching this.
Is this an invitation, like an official one?
That is an invitation.
Okay, so leading from that question, this is the question that we were missing here, that you are afraid of, very afraid of.
You can see me trembling.
Yes. So a very simple question, actually, that was missing from this sheet. But does MSC operate as an advisory branch or body to NATO, or are there some other ways the two maybe differ or overlap? Like, how does MSC operate in terms of NATO or with NATO?
Yeah, so we certainly don't advise NATO, but we have a very organic relationship with the Public Diplomacy Division, with many of the ASGs, so the various divisions, and with the Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General that has grown, again, quite friendly over the last decade or so. What we want to do is to make sure that NATO's crucial role in transatlantic security is part of the debate, stays part of the debate, and that we never shy away from talking about the elephant in the room. That's really what Munich does. Again, we're not a feel-good conference. We're not a show, a circus.
Would you call this a feel-good conference?
This is, at the moment, still a feel-good conference.
Okay.
Let's talk about security guarantees for Ukraine later today.
Exactly.
That's when the feel-good will probably stop. But our point or reason of existence, raison d'être, is really to ask the difficult questions, to provide a protected platform for consequential debates, not the standard debates. And as such, adding that to the NATO outreach effort has been a very fruitful cooperation.
Would you be able to, let's say, walk me through what's the standard? Like, if we have a topic, right? We somehow have to debate it at MSC. I understand. Like, how does the process look? What does it look like? Okay. How do you go from having a topic to having a debate to having like bullet points or action points that you later, I guess, lay down or advise NATO, sort of, or no, not really?
Yeah. So let's start one earlier. How do we get the topic? So we continuously monitor the field and talk to people all over the world to make sure that we know what topic is important at what time.
But it can both be, sorry to interrupt you, political or like military or...
So we talk about hard security, but hard security as a topic has broadened quite massively. Now topics like food security, access to education and healthcare, migration, climate change, all these are now matters of national security and international security, and hence they're legitimate concerns for us and our audience. So we scout for topics that aren't covered elsewhere. So just to give you an example, for years we talked about cybersecurity. When everyone else started talking about cybersecurity, we stopped because there is no reason for us to keep doing what others are doing. We do three things. We make conversations happen that don't happen elsewhere. We put stuff on the agenda that isn't on there. And, my favorite, we put stuff back on the agenda when it falls out, when it gets crowded out. There is so much happening these days that important topics just regularly fall off the agenda. When is the last time you've heard about Yemen or Libya or Syria? They're all still around, those conflicts.
Time ago, I guess.
You see? And
in online debates, maybe,
yeah.
but a long time ago.
And we will put it back on the agenda when we believe it's important. And so, once we've selected a topic, then our teams do two things. They look who are the best people, the most relevant people, to talk about this topic, and who disagrees, who could challenge them, who has another perspective to that.
So is the concept sort of like a think tank or not really?
Very much so, yes.
So.
I mean, we always try to oscillate between an agenda setup by choosing topics and people and a neutral platform that provides a professional stage for these debates to take place.
Like for instance?
Okay, let's choose a topic that is now very, very important again. Nuclear security. Sort of it has fallen off the agenda for a while. Then with Putin's threats, it came back up on the agenda. And we believe there's a huge need to raise the nuclear IQ, as we call it. It's one of the action items on the to-do list. We need to make sure more people know about issues like nuclear assurance, nuclear deterrence, the contractual details. Why are the German warplanes with US nuclear weapons attached to them? How does that all work?
When you say IQ, you do mean like a public perception and public knowledge on the topic,
sure.
right?
And expert knowledge too. There aren't that many experts on nuclear security anymore because it's a discipline that was overtaken by, the war on terror, by other conflicts that had less to do with the nuclear issue.
I wanted to talk a bit about the New START treaty. Right, the treaty that was signed in 2011 between, I think, Lavrov signed it and Hillary Clinton. And what is the state of that treaty, technically speaking? Or is it the topic that we should probably avoid right now, for now?
No, all good. The New START treaty is quite important to the Munich Security Conference because the exchange of the ratification documents between Russia and the US happened at the Munich Security Conference. New START treaty is the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. So it's about the reduction of the nuclear arsenal, both the US and Russia. Obviously, that's a bit of a tough cookie these days.
Yes.
I do think we need a new start for a new start. We've seen an aborted attempt to restart US-Russia relationships with Lavrov,
context, right?
and they pressed the famous button that unfortunately looks a bit like a nuclear launch button, a red button that they pressed. It didn't really lead to anything. So I very much hope that we can once again offer a stage for constructive dialogue between Russia and the US when this terrible war is over.
thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. That could have been much worse.
Thank you, guys. Really?